It's August in Montana, and today we have a barley harvest. Gonna be a big harvest here. Expected yield bonus around 122 on certain areas. Super excited about that, but we've seen a deal in the market for a good harvester that is on sale. It's 52% off. It's another New Holland, and we're gonna spend a little bit of cash and get these swapped out to a little bit of an upgrade. I couldn't pass on the deal. Let's take a look. Right there, $120,000, 57% off. Decent little upgrade. We are going to buy this. Let's go ahead and finish this transaction here. We're going to go into headers, and we are going to go... I'm going to go with the 28-foot one here. We're going to do it. And after selling the old harvester, we still have $164,000. So I don't know if that was the wisest decision, but it's definitely going to make me happy. And getting a header for corn is all we'll have to lease when we get to the corn harvest. It's not necessarily, you know, the end game harvester that we'll want on this series, but it's an upgrade. It's a pretty nice upgrade getting into these big harvests today. So let's go ahead and get started with the barley, see how it's gonna yield for us. We have to take into consideration that we do have a lot of straw to pick up, and I figured we'd get this harvested before we do the straw in the other field, and then we can do a single session of just a lot of baling. And we'll have to lease something for that. This field, I don't think we'll need to row it, but I feel like we need a rake for the other field. There is so much straw down there and such little passes that it's just gonna take forever on that other field back there. Let's show you. You can see here, just so these passes are just so close together of swaths here. Think about getting a rake to get those taken care of, but maybe not. Maybe we just deal with it. Let's do first thing first. Let's focus on this harvest. We're gonna have to get the grain cart over here momentarily. Harvester was struggling around that turn. That's not very good. Probably should have done some maintenance on this to make sure our yield is as good as possible, but I didn't think about it, guys. 12.2 hectares per acre right now. Wait a minute, that didn't make any sense. 12.2 tons per hectare right now is what we're getting. So we'll see. This seems to be pretty good. 4,000 liters already in the harvester. It has a little bit more capacity than the other harvester that we had. So this should be, you know, all in our favor. You know, finally getting to harvest one of our new fields that we purchased, and gonna see the benefit. After we get done with this, we'll be able to take a look at time-saving stock check and see how this is gonna affect us financially. It's absolutely gonna be a win. I know we're getting 97% yield bonus right here. The soil type could have been better for us, but I don't think it's that big of a problem. This New Holland, new to us, is doing a beautiful job here, about 89% full in the tank there. So we'll get the rest of this filled up, and then we'll get the grain carts over here. You know, I was gonna swap those out, but since this New Holland came for use, it was a deal I couldn't pass. I wasn't planning on going very New Holland this time around, but it seems to be working out that way for what we're seeing on the used market, and that's probably going to dictate a lot of our purchases. It's definitely nice to mix up equipment. You know, we got the fence here that I don't usually use, and it's been mixing it up nicely for me. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I think this season's going to be somewhat of a turning point for Whiskey RP. Let's see, what's the capacity? I want to get this to a place where I really enjoy harvesting, and got to be honest, with the gravity wagons you know, messing up, I think we're gonna sell them. It's unfortunate, but they're just too cheesy. So we're gonna spend a little bit of money on this trailer here that's gonna save me a lot of time. And you'll see when we hook up to it, the capacity. You know, dropping RP right now, but the TARDIS set here is what we're using. And, you know, completely dropping RP. This is something I talked about a while ago with these bigger fields, and playing solo, it's just, you know, it gets a little tedious unloading every, you know, or, you know, going back to the grain cart all the time. And I think this will just really improve my happiness on these series where we have the big fields. So I hope you guys don't think it's too much cheating or cheesy, but I figured it'd be fine for this series. It just saves me a little bit of time. It's not actually helping us financially, so it's kind of how I feel about that. Yeah, 2% full, that's beautiful. But today we are going to be focused on getting this barley harvested and figuring out what we're going to do to bale, and potentially getting to the soybean harvest, though I don't know if we're going to be ambitious enough to do both those harvests in one episode. But let's get back at it. We'll see how this treats us. And I think we might want to figure out how to do some maintenance on this harvester. The header's brand new, but it just seems to be struggling a little bit uphill, and I hope that's because of maintenance and not because of horsepower. But you know what? We're going to be positive today. 14.9 right here. Look at this dark green on the yield chart. Can I make that bigger? It doesn't work. That's too bad. Looking good. 118% yield bonus. Let's get focused and get this done. And that concludes the headland here. So I think I'll lift now. We'll go down to this other end at the bottom here. How do we want the auger out. So I'm gonna turn around and go this way. And we'll head, I guess, what is that? We'll head east on the field instead of west, and that will put the auger out, because we're gonna fill up here pretty quick, I think. I don't think we'll get past this next up and down, but it is nice to get to the ups and downs already. Possibly we'll hand it over to a worker and just run the cart here. Also might start looking into leasing a square baler. I know this is like, it's gonna turn into a joke of this series. Maybe we just don't buy a baler because we're just constantly, every episode, I'm like, I need to buy a baler. I need to buy a baler. Just a broken record at this point. But 66% full right now, or 65, so I hope we don't get to the end before it fills up. I hope we fill up a lot quicker and get a lot of products here, because we're running out of money. I don't think we're gonna be able to afford the factory this year, maybe next year, but still $2 million in 2 years. I think we talked about it last episode. We're gonna slow roll it. We've got to be done purchasing things though. I feel like everything else we use between now and the next 2 years has got to be a lease, and we got to just bust through this and focus on it. And again, I think maybe this episode we will get to that soybean harvest, because I want to know how that's going to help us financially. All right, dropping RP again. We are testing out auto drive again. I think I have it set up besides them driving in the crops, which we're just going to kind of deal with. But we're moving to the phase in this series where Bobby and a couple other workers are going to be with us. So they're going to take care of this harvest, and we are going to jump in the John Deere and get that leased baler, because we got to move faster, guys. We got so much to do. We got to get this straw baled up over here, and then we're going to have to get the straw baled up over here. So let's remember our horsepower on this John Deere 7810. We have 175 horsepower, so let's take a look at what we want to lease for a baler now. And I prefer square, but are we going to be able to handle it or not? But what we can do, let's take this John Deere. Actually, let's do this. Well, John Deere is going to come over here and going to swap out to drive the cart and hope it doesn't run out of fuel, and then we can get the fence to lease a baler. But this harvest is going good, and we're definitely gonna have to, you know, have workers help us out while we multitask, because like I said, by myself, that's the way it's gonna be. All right, I believe, yeah, that should be starting its route. So let's go ahead, and now we know we have a little bit more flexibility. We'll go ahead and get one of the square balers leased and get to baling. You might as well go with the fence, right? It's gonna cost us $9,000 for this, and it's way over there. So hopefully, you know, we make at least $9,000 off of straw. You know, I was tempted to rake this up, but I think if we have a square baler, it won't be too annoying. It's a lot of passes. It's gonna be a lot of bales out here, hopefully. Actually, I think we missed the opportunity there to make this. You know, we want to do the 240 centimeter bales. Away we go. Wish me luck. Man, it's so nice watching them do work for us out there. It's so smooth. They keep getting filled up, so I might want to figure out an adjustment on the settings to see if I can get them to unload a little bit more aggressively. But we got 2 more passes here to do, and then we'll get over to that field and start doing some baling. We got our 20th bale being created right now. The biggest size we could do. I think that was wise. Just keep on keeping on. We probably need to flip these fields before we even get to that soybean harvest. I think what we're gonna do is just rotate wheat and barley across the fields, across the way. I think that would be wise. A little crop rotation. And here we are. We'll hopefully not drop any bales in the way of the harvester. That would be the only concern over here right now. So if we can get this one to drop before we turn, that would be ideal. And yeah, the way yeah, that's perfect. Okay. So that shouldn't end up being in the way. And now we should be able to get past what's not harvested yet before the next one drops. Should be good. Little indicator of what's left there. they're making good time. We'll take a look momentarily at how many liters we have in the trailer. But I think we have a shot at getting caught up here. The fleet is out here doing work. I haven't checked at all how full the grain cart is. I am excited to find out here. I'm gonna let it finish so we get a full, you know, the entire total at the end. But we're almost caught up. A lot of bales. I mean, 46 bales so far, so we'll have to get these moved. But, you know, I don't know if we'll get to that soybean harvest. This is pretty time consuming, even with the worker doing it. So we're not gonna have time in this episode, but we definitely want to get these fields flipped. And that would be a priority first in the natural progression. So we'll be putting wheat in this field and barley in that one. And, you know, after we get done with this, we'll figure out the prep on that. And I believe it's September when we'll be planting that. Should be good. And look at this, we have caught up. Harvest is almost done. Just that little bit in front of the harvester there and a little bit behind us to do. Just, you see it there. Pretty good progress. I love it. I love doing it this way. Super efficient. All right, if we open this up, they should come and unload us. We're gonna be patient. We're gonna stay here. They're driving, perfect. And once they get over here to unload, we'll see, you know, our total. We got, you know, 2,500 liters in the harvester right now. It's gonna be interesting. I have no clue, to be honest with you. I think it's gonna be pretty impressive. I think it's gonna be six figures. Just under 90, it looks like it's gonna be about 95,000 liters. Gonna tip over to 96. Almost. So if we go here and I hit next, it should exit the field and unload this at the silo. This we want to go ahead and close and get back to the property. Did a nice job there avoiding the light poles or the electrical poles there. Now he's gonna cruise back onto the road, or should, and then go to the silo. What are you doing? There it goes. I love auto drive, guys. So much fun. All right, so now we get back. Actually, let's just watch this. 95,000 liters of barley. And once that's in there, time-saving stock check will give us a nice indicator of how much of a dent that did into our $2 million. How much of a dent it did into our $2 million debt. Side tip in there, it always prefers that, it seems. And that thing unloads super fast. What a good mod. Are we at capacity? Oh, we are. Okay, so this is what we were worried about. Let's do this. Silo extensions. This gives us 75. This is not looking good, guys. Does this actually work? I've never done this before. So if we add a connection here, or an extension, overlaps object. I guess if I just use B, if I turn it this way, we put it like that. Does that give us, whoop, we're flying. Does that give us more capacity? Does that actually work? And it does. So that, you know, a little bit of cash, but it was required because we need to store this stuff. So now that that's stored, let's take a look at time-saving stock check. So barley gives us 108,000 when it's at its max price, so not great. 77,000 from straw. Wheat has us at 73,000, showing things that we can sell here. $286,000 worth of goods right now, and that included the straw. So we're an eighth there. About 1/8. All right, we can turn this off and unload her. Unload her. And our grand total was 58 bales. All right, so apparently we can turn this into a mulcher. Oh yeah, Control Y. Let's go over here. Control Y. What does this do? Mulcher. There we go. Let's go ahead and do some mulching. It's time to really get efficiency around here going. An extra bonus. So that texture, that's rough. Let's take a look at that. Ooh. I don't know about that. We'll see. I think it's the tire marks in the mulch texture together on this map is looking a little strange there, but I think it'll be fine. It'll be fine. We'll get that extra bonus next time we harvest. This is the first time I've mulched, I think, in FS25, so maybe it's just me not knowing. But let's just push this bale out of the way. And boy, we are flying. 18 miles an hour is what we're gonna do. We'll get this mulched and the other field mulched as well. Really gotta maximize that potential for income. All right, I'm starting to appreciate the texture now. The inconsistencies, it looks good. Like, it has spots that are from where the swath was, and I don't know. I'm not very good with words today. I'm having a hard time articulating myself, but I think up close, this texture looks a little funny, but like the farther you back away, I think it looks pretty good. I think that describes it. But if you like zoom in, I don't know, maybe it just wasn't rendering at first, because am I crazy, guys? Does it look better than it did at first? I might be crazy. Don't answer that. All right, we called an audible here. We're putting some canola in the ground. We got Bobby over there doing the mulching, but all is good. I think this is a wise decision financially for us. Canola definitely yields better and pays better. Well, I don't know if it yields better, but it pays better than wheat. I can't remember how much it yields in comparison, but we've almost done a full lap around the headland, used over 10% fertilizer already, only 3% seed, so seed's gonna be fine. The question's gonna be, do we have enough fertilizer? We have more in the spreader by the shed over there, so if we need it, we can unload that and put it in here. But I think this was the wise call. We need to get out of debt and maximize our money, and putting flipping this as quick as possible so that we can get a crop that we can sell, before the end of year 4. It was the idea. So we should harvest this in the summer next year, and then we'll be able to sell it early winter or early winter, yeah, right before the end of the year. Making some good progress here, and I think this is a good time to take a break after this pass to fill up the fertilizer. You can see we have 8% left, so it's doing pretty good. I figured if we bought 2 more of these seeders, we would really never need to upgrade. We could just put one on the left and right. If this one is compatible for that, I believe they are. So that's what I'm kind of thinking. All right, let's go ahead and lift that, and we could go in and see. I'm pretty sure we have fertilizer in the spreader, so we'll get that unloaded, loaded into the seeder here, and finish with that planting session. And they're almost done over here. I was hoping to get them going on weeding for me, but they're taking their sweet little time. Oh, 115 liters is all that's in there. Oh, we'll see if that's enough. It might be. We'll have to get more for the next field, though, for sure. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be enough. I'm going to order a pallet just to be safe. And they delivered it by the field for us. It won't all fit in here, so we'll have to remember this one's over here. But this might be enough to do the barley field as well. I think it probably will be. All right. Not too many passes left here, and then we'll have to do the weeding, and then we can make it September. But we're back at it. Yeah, the fertilizer never would have been enough. It was great that we bought some. So the canola's in the ground now. What a pretty field this has turned into. Nice to be able to flip this in one day. Have the equipment to pull it off. We'll have to get the weeding done over here. Other than that, this thing's ready to sit till summer of year 4. Got to start putting stuff away over here. We bought it for a reason. All right, that is put away successfully. It's time to go grab the weeder, get it going on the new canola field. And I think we'll quickly get into September so we can get the barley planted as well. Oh yeah, good width on this one. This shouldn't take too long at all. Have them go on their merry way, and I am gonna speed up time, and we're gonna get into September and do the planting while that's going. And just to make sure this hasn't flipped yet, there we go. We got some seed, or we got some weeds, but no crop yet. There it is. All right, it looks like it is taken care of. Let's make sure that we didn't mess up here, because we have messed up in the past. Yeah, weeds are completely getting taken care of. I wanted to make sure that we didn't mess up. All right, let's get to daylight. We're gonna go ahead and top up on fertilizer. I think it'll be enough for this field. Looks like a good place to start to me. And away we go, getting some barley back in the ground. I think we'll have enough seed. We have more over by the ford if we need it, but I think this will be plenty. Let's get rolling. We don't have a roller, but you know what I mean. We got the headlands done, starting the ups and downs. The seed rate is 220 per meter squared on this, so I think we are gonna burn through seed on barley. So canola seems like a much cheaper crop to plant, and it seems better. We need the barley for the whiskey eventually, but canola, soybeans, corn, well, corn might go into the product as well eventually, but those ones are to make money. Right now we're in a make money phase, and I think we're making the right decisions. Getting better at getting better at barley, and learning some other crop types just to make a profit. And I think this is gonna be a good breaking point as well. You know, with a couple passes left, we're about to run out of seed, and we're gonna be by the side of the field where the seed is, so perfect timing. I think the weeding's getting close to being done. I think they're on the headlands now. Bobby's taking care of that pretty quickly for us. So we'll be able to get him over here to do this field as well to wrap up prepping these fall planting. And yeah, getting to this next episode is gonna be, that's the important episode, guys. It's gonna make or break this farm. It's our biggest field. It's got soybeans in it. That is the indicator if we're gonna have a winning condition or not. Next episode, stay tuned. The weeding has completed, and we're on the last pass now of the barley. Pretty amazing time there. What we're gonna do is have Bobby do this weeding for me while I relax and enjoy some downtime here in September. So next episode, we're gonna get to the soybean harvest. We're gonna get to the corn harvest. We're gonna get to the winter selling session, and we're gonna have a good indicator of how hard we're gonna have to push, and if there are changes we're gonna have to make to get to $2 million by the end of year 4. I'm SocksWayUp. I will catch you on the next episode.